Senator from Oklahoma.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent I be recognized if in morning business for such time as I shall consume. Mr. President, this week, after 3 years of planning and construction, we now will be dedicating tomorrow, officially opening the Museum of the Bible. It was led by Steve Green of Hobby Lobby. Now, you all remember Hobby Lobby. That's Oklahoma. He's been a friend of mine. His parents have been friends of mine for a long period of time. He's the chairman of the board of directors of this long-awaited museum, and will allow visitors from all over, not just the country here, but all over the world. They'll be coming here for that purpose, to see what really it's all about and how this plays the pivotal role in our country's history. There's no better place than Washington, D.C. to be our nation's capital to remind us of the scope of the Bible, impact on our history and our narrative. It's been long awaited. Indeed, one of our founding fathers, Patrick Henry, was renowned for his readings of the Bible. And he said at the end of his life, and this is kind of significant, people don't realize this, he said, this is a quote, he said, "This book is worth all of the books that ever were printed, and it has been my misfortune that I never found time to read it without proper attention until lately." You know, he's the one, if you remember, not many people are aware. The historians are now re-looking at the history of this country, and they're saying we could not have won that war. I mean, you have to sometimes close your eyes and just envision the greatest army in the face of this earth coming down with thundering marches, going through Boston, then going up to Lexington and Concord. And, you know, there's no way in the world that a handful of trappers and hunters could have won that thing. And yet, we know why, and he knew why. When you're talking about Patrick Henry, he said that they're saying, well, you're not strong enough, it can't be done. But there's one thing that they overlooked, and that is the strength that comes from God that we had and they didn't have. He said, "We are not weak if we make the proper use of those means which the God of nature have placed in our power. Armed in the holy cause of liberty, in such a country as that which we possess, we're invincible by any force our enemies can send against us. Besides, we will not fight our battles alone. There is a just God who reigns over the destinies of nations, who will raise up friends and fight our battles with us." And he did. And they fired that shot heard around the world. And I think that's really important today to think about. Because people come to this country and they want to know what makes America work. You know, I've been privileged to sponsor the African dinner every February, and people come in from all over all over Africa, and they're always surprised when they come and they find out, walking through the Capitol, what real significance that God and the Bible have to the history of this country. And now we're the home of the largest Christian community in the world. We cannot and should not deny the role that our Judeo-Christian values played in the formation of this country. Our first president, George Washington, was steadfast in his belief, his law, and his liberty, and God's gift. Washington's leadership was based on the conviction that Americans are entrusted by God to preserve basic freedoms established in the Constitution. In a letter Washington wrote, he said, quote, "We should be very cautious of violating the rights of conscience in others, ever considering that God alone is the judge of the hearts of men, and to him only, in this case, they are answerable." And it's our clear founding fathers recognized, enshrined the importance of the religious liberty, one of the most precious and foundational religious freedoms that are allowed to live their lives according to the teachings of the Bible. The Bible's role in founding America is just one remarkable example of how the Bible has profoundly shaped world history. It has influenced cultures in every corner of the globe, and the Museum of the Bible, which is going to be opening tomorrow, it pays tribute to its impact and the intersection of the world religions. Now, whether considering the Bible through a secular or faith-based lens, it's important to deny its impact, impossible to deny its impact on individuals, countries, and indeed all world history. The Museum of the Bible is the first educational experience that I have encountered that truly appreciates the full magnitude of the Bible's role throughout history. The 6 exhibits, curated by a panel of faith leaders that span religious and geographic divides, truly bring the Word of God to life in a way that positively educates, informs, and encourages people of all faiths and beliefs to learn more about the Bible. General Washington reminded us in his farewell address, he said, "Let us with caution indulge the supposition that morality cannot be maintained without religion." Steve Green's father, David, founded Hobby Lobby. You know, I remember this so well because I was in the state legislature at the time this happened, and they started in their garage making frames for pictures, and it turned out to be this giant worldwide corporation, the largest arts and craft retailer in the history of America, currently or in the past. And you remember Hobby Lobby, when the Obamacare required that all employers provide free access to the pills that terminate pregnancies. And David clearly recognized this is a violation of his faith. You know, that's what America is all about. If you believe in something, you do it and take your risk. And he was risking millions of dollars. But the morality was so significant from the teachings of the Bible that he went ahead and did it. He took the challenge all the way to the United States Supreme Court, won on a split decision. He successfully argued the importance of maintaining the fundamental freedoms of religion, to apply his faith convictions to how he operates his private business. Now, David won his case, but his family understood that we need to do more. And so he started the Museum of the Bible. And that institution is, I actually was there last June. It was under construction at that time. And as you walk through and you visualize what it's going to look like later on, this thing is just magnificent. They have a stage that you live in the stage, and he's going to have performances there. And I'm so anxious to be there tonight, the night before the official opening, to see now what it looks like. So I'm so grateful that David's son Steve and his entire family are leading this effort to make the Bible and its impact more accessible to the whole world. And I'm especially honored that the museum will open on my birthday tomorrow. So I'm not sure they really knew that when they made the decision, but somebody knew it.